Nina, let's go over your childhood. What got you involved in acting and music? Was it just something from the very beginning?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Denmark, and I have a Russian dad. So
Hmm.
my Russian parents kind of, when I was younger, took me under their wing when I was a kid, and I performed their Russian gypsies. So I performed with my grandmother, and my grandfather was one of Russia's greatest actors. So I was very inspired. He was Stanislavski's protege and did all these plays, and my grandmother was performing, and my dad was a professor at the Danish Film School. So I didn't really have a choice. Like I
You're in
could do.
the you're in the family business.
I'm in the family business. I can't cook. I can't clean. I worked as a waiter for like 2 hours, and then I got fired. Like I don't have any other talents. I'm a performer. That's it.
Well, it's all packed in what you do. I have to also say you have one of the most amazing voices I think I've heard.
Thank you.
Is that because of training or is that a natural occurrence?
Oh, I don't. I mean, you gotta train. You know what I mean? You're
Mhm.
born with some. Maybe I have the vocal cords, but no, I trained. I studied opera for years. I went to NYU. I did musical theater. I'm one of those. I believe I still take class. I'm one of those. I believe that, the arts in my profession is like any other profession, like a doctor. I still go to class. I still do my scales. I still, you know, otherwise it goes away.
But songwriting also is it's an extension of that. But
Yeah.
do you hear poetry just in life?
Yeah, I mean, I was one of those kids that would like write my messages and my poems on my parents' walls, and they didn't appreciate that. I just needed to express. So whether it's through another character and their story, or it's my own story in a song, or, it's like if I just get quiet enough, I just hear the melodies out there and I just have to sing them.
That's that's an amazing explanation.
Yeah, like I can't cook. Like some people, like they get so frustrated with me in the kitchen because they're like, Nina, why can't you? It needs salt, and I was like, does it? I mean, I don't know. I don't. They can just tell what a meal needs. I can just tell what a song needs, or I can just tell what a character needs. Oh, that doesn't feel authentic. You know what I mean? Or I don't know. It's just different talents, I guess.
In your acting, do you find rhythms and cadences in the roles that you've played?
Oh yeah, very much so. I mean, I always start more physical because I come from a dance background. You know, how would they walk, how would they talk, how would they dress, and then one of the first things is how do they talk? Where's their voice? What's their rhythm? I find that voice pretty early on. Yeah.
I always find anyone that can dance intriguing because I just can't. I look like a rubber ball in heat when I dance.
Well, it's just because you haven't practiced.
No, my body just doesn't want to. It's like playing the piano. I can't get my left hand to work, and so I can, pick out things, but I just can't play.
Mm, mm.
But I can cook. See, I went the other way. I really am a good cook.
See, you got a thing that like, you don't want me in the kitchen. Trust me.
People die.
People die. I things start to burn. Yeah.
Do you seek out roles that are athletic?
Um, I didn't do that at first, but that's kind of what I got cast in. When I first started, I wanted to be Meryl Streep, and then I did a movie with a guy named Peter Stormare, one of my
Sure,
favorite actors.
I know
Yes.
Peter.
Yeah, and he said to me, he goes, Nina, once you accept who you are, that's when you're gonna start booking more. He's like, the greatest thing I did was, he's like, I never want to be a star or anything. I just accepted who I am and what I get cast as. And I was like, oh, Nina, people see you more as like a badass, not a Meryl Streep. You know what I mean? They want you to be that badass that that has the strength. Or if you're playing a girl next door, there's a twist in there. You know what I mean? She's the murderer, or you know what I mean? Or so I just started embracing. I was like, I'll just stay open, and instead of forcing my will and try to get cast as what I want to, how I see myself, I just became open to how other people perceived me.
We're going to talk about your new movie, Hell Hath No Fury, in just a few minutes, but you also have been a boxer, and I would think that creates a great timing, physically what your body is capable of doing. It opens up that clock inside of you.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, boxing really helped. I was a ballerina and I was so ballet-y. And then they sent me to boxing to get like a little more grounded for this gig that I had. And then I started training with a guy named Maka. And then I came out here and trained with Freddie Roach, a wild card. And I was a very angry chick who had incredible technique because of dance. My footwork, I learned fast, and that's, which, basically, stunts and action is choreography. So I learned very fast, and the thing that you say you can't, it's like hard to, that's not the case for me. It feels very natural. So, and I was very angry. I was an angry teenager who had a lot of stuff.
But I would imagine being a boxing ballerina, though, it's really two sides of the same muscle.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, being a ballerina at the Bolshoi Theater was one of the hardest things I've ever done. So, dancing on broken toes, you live in this building, you can't leave, it's just ballet, till you pass out, and then you get up, and then you continue. So when I started boxing, and, you dance on broken toes, I have arthritis in my hip at 18, and, boxing, I broke my nose a couple of times, a scar here, fake teeth, I can't hear. I was like, oh, that's nothing compared to ballet.
You want a tough job. Do that.
Yeah.
Again, one feeds the other, and I think in doing stunts, it just amplifies your range.
Definitely, because I have the flexibility and the strength, and normally you just have one, so it goes hand in hand. I didn't know at the time. It just happened to work that way.
Did you like modeling when you were a model?
I hated modeling. I'm a paid coat hanger that you hang things on, and then my job is to have perfect manicure, pedicure, hair, and I felt like an object, and I had talents, and I had things I wanted to say and express, and it was like shut up and smile, and I was like, I'm not being utilized, but I'm making money to do what I love to do.
But you're not motivated by money.
No, but I had to. I had to survive. I had to pay $30,000 a semester for NYU.
No.
Otherwise, I couldn't go to school, and I knew that if I didn't go to school, nobody would take me seriously.
You actually got to work with one of my friends, or a couple of my friends. Marina Sirtis was.
Wonder Woman. I really like her.
Yeah, she was in Star Trek, and
she's like, oh, honey, and she's telling me all the stories, and she just shared a lot.
She has a very wicked sense of humor.
Yes.
And a foul mouth, and I love her.
I love her too. I love her. Yeah, I was new when I worked with her, so I was like, wow. She's so brave, And I was playing Wonder Woman. I was supposed to be the badass, and I just looked at her like, oh, wow, this woman is powerful. And
the Way Shower, of course, we kind of touched on that, but Eric Roberts is a dear friend of mine.
He was fantastic, too. Him and his wife, the casting director, she played, they were great. They were great. A lot of my scenes weren't so much with them. I was more with Peter Stormare. So yeah.
Well, Peter is an education all by himself.
He's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I learned a lot from him.
Do you learn from every set that you're on? Do you learn something and take it home with you?
Yeah, always. I mean, even if it's bad, I learn.
Yeah.
I learn what because once we stop growing, that's it, right? We're dead. So. And I just want to keep growing. I just want to keep being challenged. I just want to keep, if I don't grow, I feel dead.
In the new movie that you're in, Hell Hath No Fury, I had talked with Jesse,
Yeah.
the director, and you got that role. He told me because of the of the reading that you did, that they hired somebody else, but you blew them away.
Well, I auditioned, but they had this girl with a name, so that's how they financed the movie. But I read the script and my fangs were out, and I was like, it's just like everything in my being, I had to play this part, right? She was so fantastic. She was so different from me, and I was like, I must. I was like, if not, it's COVID. I'll just work on her, like I'm in acting class or something. Just work on doing a play. I'll just work on her because I just love her. And then they had a table read. They couldn't get the actress to come because of COVID. And I was like, hey, Jesse, I'll do the table read for you. And he's like, oh, I can't ask that of you. You know what I mean? And I was like, no, you don't have to pay me. It's just think of me as like understudy. I'm just your little understudy. So I got the script in the evening. I stayed up all night. I worked on it. I got my hair done. I knew exactly who Marie was. So I walked in to do the table read and I nailed it. And everyone was like, well, but that's Marie. And I was like, yeah, damn right, that's Marie, because I know I can do this. And then Jesse was, forced to hire me.
There's a consensus of the universe that you get this part.
I had a very different take, I think, on her that he did. And maybe it's hard to imagine because he knows me pretty well. And I'm very different from her, but I'm an actor. You know what I mean? Yeah, I knew I could give her.
Sometimes I would imagine that friendship gets in the way of them seeing what you can do as an actress. They think of you in one way.
Yeah, because especially if you're a chameleon like me, I'm a chameleon. So it's like when my agents, they're like, hey, we want you to do a meet and greet. And I was like, I don't want to, because then they get to know me, and then they're not going to think of me for a certain part. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm a chameleon. Just tell me what I can play a man. I can play a, you know what I mean? I'm pretty adaptable. So a lot of people don't, how are they supposed to know that? So, yeah. So sometimes it works against you.
Was there any consternation in taking this role when you had to shave your head?
No.
You just went right in and...
It's just, for me, that was the least of my worries. I mean, I'm with hair. I told my manager, and he was like, oh, he's like, well, if you're going to do it, you have to do it during COVID, so it could grow out. But no, for me, what scared me was that she was, her strength is very quiet, She speaks French. I don't speak French. I've never done a French accent before. You know what I mean? Yeah. So those kind of things scared me. Can I do her justice? She's a true character. That scared me, but I was like shaving my head. I mean, you ever shaved head? It'll grow out.
Yes, I do.
It wasn't that scary, was it?
For me, it was a horrible experience because I was doing an interview with Tom Hanks, and we were sitting across from each other, and I looked at the camera, the back shot of the camera, and I've got this, monk thing going on. And I said, oh my God. And so the next day I shaved my head, because I just didn't want a big bald spot.
I get it. No, it was weird. It was weird. It felt very, the way they shaved it, it wasn't like beautifully shaved like yours. I wanted to get a shave like they did back then with the clippers. I had very specific pictures of what I wanted it to do, because back then it wasn't like a beautiful shave. They had these clippers and actually I did it. They did it on me. It like pulls, it rips your hair out. It hurts like hell. And you have those kind of patches. Yeah,
it looks like a prison shave job.
Yes, that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I remember going to like Vaughn's or something, and people were like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And I was like, "No, it's not. It's not cancer. It's long."
Oh my God.
Don't. Yeah, don't feel. I was all skinny and depressed because I'm staying in that character, the whole time. Yeah, it was an interesting time.
Jesse told me that you went to a 7-Eleven and they were going to call the police because they thought you were a mental patient that was escaped. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, it's because just finished the last. But I can't say anything because then I'm gonna give the movie away.
Don't give away spoilers, but
Yeah, I looked pretty. I looked. It was bad. It
you
looked
look crazy.
Yeah, I looked completely, and I had blood, and it was. Yeah, it was bad, and I just. Yeah, it wasn't good. Yes.
I'm surprised that a big international actress like you would actually go to a 7-Eleven and not hire somebody to go for you.
Yeah, that would go and get things, but I'm one of those vegans. I eat clean. I'm very particular what I put in my body, and I wanted to go myself. And they gave me all the stuff that I requested, but they didn't get it right because I'm very easygoing. But when it comes to what I put in my mouth, I'm very particular.
I know that you do a lot of work for animal rights and animal charities.
Yes.
We are stewards of this planet, and that's a wonderful thing to be associated with.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Do you have a favorite charity that you give time to?
Oh, I have many. I worked undercover for 6 years. I have many, I work with shelters, with dogs. I worked, with dog fighting, with pit bulls, a lot of pit bull rescues. I did undercover in slaughterhouses, mink farms, horse races. I'll go to the horse races and pretend to be Miss Sunshine, one of the contestants, and then I could go back and see what they're really doing to the horses. I mean, I've done, anything that has to do with animals, I'm in. I'll support, a lot of trophy, poaching. I just did an interview about
Poaching is a huge problem in this world.
Yeah, I work with some of those organizations. I'm not committed to one because I just feel like there's too many things I want to address. I can't just commit to one.
When you're on set, do you, and they're dressing you, do you look for non-animal based clothing and things like that?
I tell them very specifically, before I start shooting, I'm very specific because I just don't, I don't want to be a hypocrite, and I'm one of those where, I have some leather military boots and some jackets that I haven't thrown out, but I would never purchase it. And, I don't want to advertise it, but, I would never wear fur, ever, and I try to be, as I said, I used to be very diligent, and it almost hurt. It was always hurting me because I was the crazy person where I was like, Nina, life is in the gray, right? It's somewhere in the middle, and we just do the best we can. But I do, I will not wear fur.
Back in the day, that it was like one voice out of many, and now it's gotten to where you have choices at fast food restaurants. You've got choices everywhere.
Oh.
In our final moments, this time has flown by. You are just a great guest.
Oh.
In our time left, do you want to hop behind the camera more and more, produce, direct, that kind of thing?
I have no desire to direct, but I am producing. Apparently, I didn't want to embrace that title, but I'm very good at telling people what to do.
Well,
no, I'm very good at it's not because I want it. I just want to do projects that mean something, and I want to work with people on the same page. And I want to do great work. I work with people who really respect the craft. Work with people with content that matters. So I had to start producing, and I have been. And I have a couple of projects coming out. I'll just have to come back and then I'll talk about them. I'm very proud of.
Yeah, we'll catch up and do some more. But as we leave, as COVID, kind of, goes through its thing, are you going to go back to the stage and do some live performances?
Yeah, I'm not going to tour like I did before. It takes too much time. And I was going to do one-offs, and then, I did a Comic-Con not too long ago, but I think it was 40,000 people, and I got COVID.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so it's like I'm a little scared, to be honest. I'm still a little scared. I'm gonna wait a little bit, but I want to do like one-offs. I don't want to tour. I want to put my focus on acting. You know, I'll do projects with music. I'll always do music, but I can't do both. It's like having two lovers. I gotta commit. To my
Comedy. You want to do a rip roaring slapstick comedy at one point?
But you know, people always say I'm funny. I did one during COVID. I'll let you know when it's coming out. And I'm good at physical comedy, you know. But I like comedy with content. You know, like I can't just do fluff. I'm not good at fluffy things.
This portion of Screen Chatter is presented by VP Dental. Check out our great dental plans starting at just $16 per month. You know, I feel very blessed to have this conversation with you. You are a wonderful actress, a brilliant singer and songwriter. There's nothing you can't do, and God bless you for that, because you know, we need people like you to set examples for us.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you.
And I'll come over and cook for you when you need it.
Yes, please.